Hello everybody. Today we are going to talk about how to apply my working paper, the end of housing problem now. We are now in the chapter 2. Chapter 2 today we are going to talk about the basic item in my working paper. This is the new form for rent. First of all, I thank my God that I am not a tenant. Why? Because if the housing has a purity than eat, than food, because so when I beg money for anybody to eat, it's better. It's very bad. So when I have no house, it's very bad. It's shame to me. So I thanks my God to I'm not a tenant. I cannot imagine that I can every month I pay this money. I burn this money for and I give this money for landlord monthly. This money is it's the effort which I think was offered for about 10 days monthly. Uh, so this money is burned money, and I cannot imagine that the man can has a decision to get evicting me from my staying in the house, even he is the landlord who is the owner of the department of the department where I live. Secondly, it's a shame to any government when it's considered that the rent is one of the solution of the housing problem. So what the question is, what is its rules? How can I belong to the country didn't give me the basic item for life or basic element for our life? Indeed, the no, one of the main problem for one of the main problem for which case housing is there in the world. The world is dragging between two relations. Both are bad. The civil rent formula, which is used in the majority of the world, and the old law, which applied in some countries, and he finished later. So in this video I will make a new suggestion how or for a new formula for rent. This is the most fair formula, and better than it's better than the other formula which applied in the world. Even that I don't like rent, and I consider rent is not a solution, but it's a temporary solution for a time, and for exception only. For exception. There is something also. This is a problem which when the people deal use the current local currency in every dealing, like tenant, like rent. If I give the landlord the money, this and make a agreement or contract with the landlord to pay monthly for rent $1,000. As example, maybe the dollar go up or down due to inflation, or any shock in the economy, or any troubles on the economy. So the purchasing power for the rent value is decreased. So it's created a problem. So if you see, this is the first area. The mankind used barter system when you change the goods between them. If you produce a rice and I produce honey, I give you honey and take from you rice, and then there are after a while. Next for that, the people used the currency or local currency in any dealing or financial contract. So this is make a great troubles for any contract in the make many the local currency make a problem to many people. So in this working paper I use something which is called real estate rent bound. Real estate rent bound it's a modern way to return to the barter system, but with using the local currency, local currency in payment and something like this. So we have to. I will suggest my paper. This is my paper. I will offer to you a new suggestion how for a new formula for rent. Let us talk about how to apply the working paper. First of all, we have to we will read this verse from the Surah Al-Isra, verse number 9 from the Holy Quran. Realize this Quran, do the guide to that which is the most right or stable, and give the glad tidings to the believers who work deeds of rightness, that they shall have magnificent reward. This Quran, this is to see, this is we have to believe the Quran and the Sunnah. Look the messenger of God, Prophet Muhammad say, I left it to you what can befall it, you never goes astray after me. That is the book of Allah and my Sunnah. Through this working paper I will prove that the Quran and Sunnah is the same, and the solution for all my problem of all our problems can solve it by Quran and the Sunnah. First, look at this verse also. Quran say in the Surah Yunus, verse 59, that Allah says, see you what Allah has sent down for you and for you of sustenance, then you make a part of it unlawful and unlawful. Say, has Allah commanded you, or do you forge a lie against Allah? I want to. You can see that most of the problem in our life is from the doing of the mankind, because they create a bad law for themselves. This we can discover from the verses that every deal, financial deal, is right. Every deal is right, except Quran say is banned it. So if we look, we will see in the rent contract, the man complicated the life, and Allah, our God want easy life to us and not hard life to us. We will see. Here we can see the world is reckoning between two law, old law and civil law, which applied in the majority of the world. The old law is it's still in some countries like Egypt, Lebanon, and some countries also. The rent decade or the duration is open. The landlord cannot evict the tenant even he needs the house. And the rental value is constant. If the rent value is £100 from 1950, it's still until now same value. So it's very bad to the landlord, for the landlord. Even that the landlord cannot restore the tenant if he want to sell it or want to do in it, he can't, because the law forbidding him to restore his department or his property. So look, this is a bad law. Even it's right some cases, but there is no ethic to apply, and it cannot suitable for forever. The civil law which applied in many countries in the world, the ticket is fixed. I rent, as example, I have a flat, and I rent it to you by £2,000 £2,000 monthly. It's for 2 years. It's fixed for 2 years. But when we renew the contract, I can exceed the value of the rent. This is which applied in the world, and the landlord can restore the rented unit after the end of the contract. Here here they created two problems. Here in the civil law, the landlord will be like a brutalized, and the tenant here it have no power, have no decision to stay to continue in his dwelling or not. He have to obey what the landlord want. If you want to increase the value of the rent, he must obey, otherwise he go out. So it's a bad law, which is a part this is a part of the problem of the housing in all the world. Is that if we look here, this is some landlord with all the law. They complain that they protest here in the government office, is that they say this is the prices or the rent value is less than 10x. It's cheap. It's too cheap. So both law is very bad. We can see here this is this story. Look.
Most people think that homeless people are normally old men sleeping on the streets with drinking or drug problems. This only makes up 6% of homelessness. The remaining 94% are hidden. Many of the hidden homeless are couch surfers, like Kaylee. She's 17, just like me. This is her story. My stepdad sexually abused me for years. I finally got the courage to tell Mum, and she refused to believe me and threw me out. I had nowhere to go, no help, no money. Spent months sleeping on couches of anyone willing to take me in. I was being on the move, made it impossible to go to school. I felt so alone and scared, and I couldn't take it anymore.
This is the problem. This is a story of a girl in Austria, and in the modern country there are millions of homeless. So we have to look to the solution, a new rent formula, which is suggested in this work paper or in this video. First of all, how to solve it? The rent is three things: the rent itself, the specification of the rented department. Second, the duration. Third, the value of the rent. If we are talking first of the rent, how to solve? First of all, estimate the average rent value per square meter of the apartment on all country based on economic social research. Then see if as example, if it's like $4, if it's the research. And the average value for the rent by the research it is $4. Then we will see the weight of three goods, food which varying on time, is price varying with time, and it's produced in the country, and compare this value with the £4. You see how like rice is the average value of rent in all over the country. It's £4. We can see how many by the $4 what we can buy from kilograms of rice, sugar, palm, something like this. Three goods only which is produced in the country. Then this is weighted kilo rice or kilo sugar and then kilo palm like this. We estimate this weight, the price of this weight, the weight of these three goods is called real estate rental pound, and the rental value for a new housing units Yeah, if you want to make a new contract, it's when we contract, we make a contract for the by the real estate rental bound. Then, if we want to estimate the value of the rent, it will be multiply flat of area of the department by the real estate rental bound. But we have to look here. The Minister of the duty of the rule of the Ministry of Housing and must announce the the value of real estate bound every 6 months at 1 of January and one at first of January and the first of July of each year, depending on the price of the chosen goods. We have to example. I give you example. Assume a rented housing unit. Its area, it's 100 square meter, and the rented value for every meter is 1 real estate pound as agreement between the landlord and the tenant. Look here, there is no pricing at all. Look here, this is the rented value is 100. It will be 100 real estate pound, but that it will be constant along the tenant is dwelling in the department. But the monetary value will be changed. For example, at 1st of January 2016 the the real estate bound its cost will be $1. As assume it will balance. So the rental value would be $100. If as example in 1 of July 2016 the real estate bound real estate rent bound will be half dollar, the rental value will be 50. As is also so on at 2017 the real estate rent bound at $2. So then the rental value will be $200. At 1st of July 2017, assume if the real estate rent pound it will be $3, the rental value $300. That means the landlord and the tenant make contract only for one time only, but the market who depend him will make the decrease or increase in the rental value, not the landlord like the civil law. Look here, the usage of the rental real estate bound instead of the local currency, because the local currency may be due to purchasing power of the local currency will be reduced due to inflation in the economy. So the landlord, it will hurt the landlord and it will decrease the purchasing power for the rent value, which weakens of rent value, which can cases the reluctance of many landlords to rent their apartment. But the usage of the real estate rental estate pound will make the rental value of each cash proportionate to the inflation rates and economic conditions. It's fair. So one of the bad rent value is the formula. It's one of the important cases for the housing problem in the world. So if the world apply my suggestion, it solve at least 10% of the housing problem. Because the civil law, the tenant, it's hard the tenant, but the old law, it's hard the landlord. But this is my formula is fair formula. Look here, there is no pricing at all, but only changing the evaluation unit, so the owner will be free in determining the rent per square meter as he wish. No pricing at all, by 1 or 2 real estate bound as he like. If I have a department, I can rent it to you by for every square meter by $1, one real estate bound, or 2 or 3 as I wish. and I the agreement with you, but it will be constant for during your staying in my home, in my apartment. At least start just for one time only as the first and beginning of contract. So the rental value by rental real estate pound is constant or fixed, but the monetary value that means by local currency will be different depending on the value of the rental real estate bound value, which will change with the rental real estate pound value, which will change with the prices of the weighted of goods that is affected by the economic situation. Look here. This is application that's when okay, we will return to this again. Oh, we will return to this application again. Lease duration. The period of the contract will be for complete 5 years and renew yearly directly, except in the cases of the owner request of the evacuation by the written request to the local register explaining the reason for evacuation. One of them desire to repopulate one of his first degree relative. It is not, but with a condition, it is age not less than 21 years. By the duration not less 3 months. You have to be requested before the evacuation by 3 months. The owner wants to, the other things, if the owner wants to sell the apartment and must notify the tenant the duration of not less than 3 months. That means the contract will be for first period 5 years completely. The landlord cannot evict the tenant, and then the contract renew yearly except in 2 cases which I explain. He want to repopulate one of his first degree relative, but with the condition his years, its age more than equals more than 21. The other thing is when the owner wants to sell the apartment, but if the owner has the price to buy, he has a priority. We look for here. This is application that when he want that landlord want to effect the tenant you have to make a request for registration office. He say, Mr. Tenant of Unit Kaza, this is from the head of real estate register. Greeting, please vacate the apartment due to sale of the apartment. In case of the landlord want to sell the apartment, the owner or the hire of the landlord with the amount he have to announce how much he will sell. If you wish the real estate register, talk to the tenant. If you wish to purchase with the above value or more, please let us know within period not to exceed 15 days from the notification date. In case of no answer, to accept that there is no desire to purchase it, please vacate the apartment at beginning of the most give the time, date, estimate, and any delay on this you will be fine. You will be pay a fine. Fine. So the tenant, if he has no money to purchase, he have to vacate the apartment. This is the request in the case of if he want to the landlord application from vacation homes. Here this is a letter from the landlord to the register, and the last application is from the register to the tenant. Here he have to make the request. He make a request to the registration office. He says it's subjected regarding for vacation of the housing units was rented. Introduction by the landlord, by Mr. This is the landlord, the owner of the apartment. Please advocate, I request to inform Mr. the tenant of the apartment to above mentioned apartment كذا. The reason is the marriage. In the case of the marriage of one of his child, he have to write. In the other case, when he want to sell the apartment, he have to write. here, and he make a signature and the name. Then the land register informs the tenant you have to vacate like the last application. The attachment, he has to make attachment the apartment data certificate, as we told you in last video. The lease contract between the owner and the leaser, owner, landlord, and the tenant. In the case, the reason he want to repopulate his son, he have to give him son or daughter birth certificate. If he want to, the reason is the landlord want to sell the apartment, he have give a copy of the contract between the owner and the here. Here this is rental real estate pound. It's a really revolution in the economy, can make a good revolution in the economy or similar for it. Why? Because the rent value is fixed value in the financial capacity, and the Muslim scholar mentioned that the rent of the house is the compensation contract. So that means the landlord takes the benefit, take money, and the tenant take benefit of housing. The use of lease estate pound as unit in the transaction is the correct answer that agree with the Islamic Sharia and with a requirement of lawful landlord without oppress. Then, when the economical and the social circumstances are changed, when it's change in the purchasing power of the local currency, the real estate pound could be can be used as a unit for a local lending. If I lend you $2,000, and then I think when it is real back, maybe its purchasing power would be decreased. So if you use the real estate pound instead of the local currency, it's better, because where some people will fear of lending to the poor due to the decrease of the purchasing power of the money. Lenders argument says so. Some people talk about the interest or usually, but with the using of lease estate pound as unit of lending, this will encourage rich to lend the other or the people or poor people. And another example, in some countries the installment is a common. If you want to buy a car by £10,000, it's expensive. But if you can give the buyer £2,000 and the monthly pay money, then in this case the buyer will make increase for the value. It will be evaluated for you. If you pay an installment, it's maybe £1,025,000. So you will take too much money than from you. The value of paid money through the installment usually is higher than the value of good price purchases in cash. This is due fear of the seller from the decrease of the purchasing power of the local currency. But by using the rental real estate pound as transaction unit, we will not force the seller to do. It will not force the seller to do so, and there will not be additional burden on the buyer. Like in this case, if you use the rental real estate pound or similar for this shape, then if the seller want to buy the car, it will be, like example, 25,000 rental estate pound, and he will I will give him 25,000 real estate pound in installment. It will be more fair, and we not need a issue. In the Islamic marriage contract, the groom pays to the bride a dower. Dower is part of money of the dower, where he could pay part of it after marriage or divorce. You have to pay you have to be complete the dower. The first of the marriage, he pay part of it.
but he, as a Sharia, he have to be pay completely if engaged in after marriage or at divorce. After a period of time, if a man married a woman and he is a dowry, it's 2,000 pound. He be as example, his example 1,050, and the rest is 500. After many years, the 500 it cannot get be the purchasing power. It will be for it. It's very weak. So if we use the rental real estate bond, it will be good. See here, in the Islamic marriage contract, the groom pays to the bride a dower, where he could pay part of it after marriage or the divorce. After a period of time, the purchasing power of the dower will be very weak. But if we estimate the postponed part of dower by using the rental estate bond as transaction unit, the purchasing power of the postponed dower